What up, guys? This is MJR. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Wherever you are on this beautiful planet, I welcome you to part 2 of the social issue series. Today, we're going to be talking about racism, antisemitism, prejudice, social issues, and anything that has to do with the racial issue. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series, the link will be in the description below. Well, without further ado, let's dive right in. Racism. It's an issue that's not died off. Although it's not as bad as it was 60 years ago during the Civil Rights Movement, but it still has a really strong grip on society today. We have issues of white cops attacking black males. We have issues of people from the Middle East being labeled as terrorists, although they don't have no affiliation with terrorist groups. We have situations like that. And it shocks me that we're so in that slump, that we cannot move forward. It seems like we don't want to move forward. We live in a world that's very diverse. We live in a world that there's people with different lifestyles than us. We have to get used to that. We have to accept that fact. But it seems like there's people that can't accept that it's hard for them to accept that they wish they had it their way. But it's not like that. Now, there's 2 types of people when it comes to racism. And I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to deal with both types of people. The first person is a racist. They say things that are racist and they act upon the things they say, deliberately hurting a certain race or multiple races with their actions. An example is the KKK. For those of you who don't know who they are a group of all white males that were openly active during the Civil Rights Movement that hate the black community. And hate is an understatement. There's a lot of terrible things that happened during the Civil Rights Movement that died off. The KKK is not one of them. Although they're not as openly active as they were before, they still exist. How do you deal with somebody that's a racist? Well, you don't deal with them in a soft manner. You have to hold them accountable for what they're doing. You have to make them responsible for what they're doing. You have to talk to them, tell them, hey, what you're doing is wrong. There has to be a stop to it. There's 2 ways that this can go. The first way is that the person accepts what you're saying and they stop. The second way, which is you have to be careful, the person could attack you, verbally or physically. So you better be careful. You must be careful, because your safety comes first. The second person is somebody who isn't racist and they say something that is racist without knowing. They don't act upon the things they say, which is the key factor here. An example is somebody's holding a yard sale and they have the prices very low, and there's somebody who comes along, wants to save a few bucks, and wants to get a bargain. So they talk to the owner, they convince the owner, and they walk away with what they want and with a very, very low price, and they're happy. And the friend of the person, the owner of the yard sale, comes to check the yard sale out to see if they can get something for themselves. And the owner tells their friend, yo, somebody just Jewed me down. The friend, he's a Jew, and he gets offended for what the person said. And they say, well, what do you mean he Jewed you down? A way you can deal with this type of person is to tell them what they said is wrong and give them another way to say it. There's sometimes people use the term Jew me down because there's a stereotype that Jews love to save every penny, that they're cheapskates, which is not always the case. So give the person another way to say what they're trying to say without hurting a certain race or the lifestyle of a certain race. There's terms that people use without knowing the history of it, like the term cracker. I use the term cracker without knowing because I always saw people calling white people crackers, and I said, yo, probably they're calling them because crackers are white, and I went around calling my friends crackers without knowing the origin of the word. It was just a few weeks back when somebody told me that the term cracker came from the times of the slaves. When the term cracker was used, it was because the black people called the master cracker because they whipped the slave, and the crack noise that the whip made was a term used, and that's where the term cracker comes from. So you got to know how to handle these types of people to be able to help society move forward. Sometimes we judge people by impression, and at times that is bad. For example, you're walking down the street and you see a thug. Your instinct is to cross the street because you to get mugged because we never, safety comes first. At times it is true that person is dangerous, and at other times that isn't the case. The person might, feel comfortable wearing baggy pants and a big shirt. I have a friend that he used to be a thug, then he changed for good. He has a well-paid job, dresses nice and formal, but at times, he likes to relax and dress in baggy pants and a baggy shirt, and he gets a lot of stares, and it hurts him, because people do it right in front of his face. But he also doesn't blame them because he does it himself, and he knows that this is what most people do. Other times there might be a black person, he's like 6 foot something, like, oh, he must play basketball, but that isn't always the case. Or there might be an Hispanic person that their name is George, and you meet him for the first time, and you assume because he's Hispanic he's pronounced Jorge, and at times that isn't the case. His parents might be from Mexico, and he might be born here in the United States. Or you might see Asian people, and you might assume they're good at math because that's the stereotype that goes around, that Asians are really good at math. I have a friend that before I met him, I saw him sit, and I said, he must be really good at math. I should go ask him for help. And in stats class, he came up to me and asked me for help. He said, hey, do you know how to do this? Because I don't know anything. And I was shocked. And I told him, yo, aren't you Asian? Aren't you guys supposed to be good at math? And I went home that day and I thought about what I said, and I felt bad because I shouldn't have said that. I should not have promoted that stereotype. And I went the next day and apologized because I told him, I'm sorry for what I said, because that's a stereotype that goes around. He said, no, it's cool. I understand. I know that that's what us Asian people are labeled as. We're labeled as the human calculators. And after that, we're cool. So people, you gotta be careful what you say. You gotta think before you speak. That's the only way we can help heal society and move forward. Now, I want to share a story with you guys that was sent to me by a fellow viewer. She wants it to be anonymous, and I'm gonna keep it that way. You guys can send me your stories for the next videos for bullying and gay rights. You can keep it anonymous, or you give me your name. Whichever way you feel comfortable, I will respect it. This story is pretty deep. I thank our fellow viewer for trusting me and opening up to me. You guys can feel 100% safe with me. You can open up to me. I am here to listen. I'm going to paraphrase your story because it's a bit long. I'm going to give you the main points because I know you guys have other things to do. So I'm just going to give you the highlights of her story. Our viewer, she's a Jew. She had a hard time telling her friends the things she could do and things she could not do, and the boundaries that were supposed to be respected based on her religion. And growing up, it was tough. For example, she was telling her friends what she could eat from the lunch menu or people she could marry. And a lot of friends told her that she was promoting a superior race. And let me clear it up. Muslim, Islam, and Judaism is not a race. It's a religion. It's a lifestyle. There's a lot of people that they get this confused. Moving on. So, growing up, a lot of people bullied her for being a Jew. They said things that were hurtful. They said things that made her double think her religion. Should she be a Jew? Should she continue being a Jew? And they always brought up Hitler. They always brought up the Holocaust. That was it. These things. There was one time one of her friends was joking and said that, "Oh, you killed our leader," or "Hail Hitler," and she didn't consider those a joke. And she found it hard to continue moving on, and she thought of suicide. And this story has a happy ending, so don't worry. No one dies in this story. She found it hard to continue moving on with her life, because people ridiculed her for being a Jew. There's a lot of racist people out there that put her down. But she kept moving forward with help of her family, with help of those people are not helping her pay her bills. Those people are not helping her become successful. So why give them any time? And I applaud her for continuing, for being strong, for not listening to those hurtful words. If you guys want to send me your stories, feel free to send it to me. I'm here to listen, and I'll respect your decision if you want to be anonymous or want to give me your name. Well, that's it, people. We gotta help each other come out of this. We gotta work as a team to come out of this thing called racism. We gotta think before we speak so we don't hurt anybody. We got to be mindful of other people's religion, other people's race, other people's lifestyle. Because this world is very, very diverse, and we have to be used to it. We have to get used to it. We have to live on as a team, live on together to be able to help society move forward. If you like this video, you can click the like button. If you want to see more content like this or a variety of content, you can subscribe to my channel. If you want to share this with your friends, with your family, or with somebody that you see might see it as useful, then go ahead and share it. And be looking forward to part 3 of social issues, which will be talking about bullying. And I feel that one is going to be pretty deep. So get ready. And have a nice day.